विद्या प्रकाशन मंदिर प्राइवेट लिमिटेड।
A very good morning to all the students of class 5. Dear student, today we will study the fourth chapter of social science named as the hot wet forest. So, dear student, we will learn this chapter, or we will study this chapter from the book Our Land, Our World. So, dear student, very first, you should know what are the learning objectives of the chapter. What you will learn in this chapter. Dear student, here I am sharing my screen with you, which will help you to understand learning objectives of the chapter. So, dear student, these are the learning objectives of this chapter in your screen. So, you will learn about location and climate. You will learn about vegetation. You will learn about wildlife. You will also learn about life of the people. You will learn about agriculture, minerals and industries, transport, and monsoon type of climate. So, dear student, let's begin with the chapter, the hot, wet forest. So, in the beginning of chapter, so dear student, in the beginning of the chapter, let's understand the basics of this chapter. As I am highlighting it, temperature and humidity are the factors of climate. जैसा हमने इससे पिछले चैप्टर में पढ़ा है, temperature and humidity किस climate के main factors हैं. Humidity is mainly caused by rainfall and nearness to the sea. Areas with a similar type of climate are called climatic region. जहाँ पर weather same रहता है उन्हें हम क्या कहते हैं? Climatic region कहते हैं. The three main climatic regions of the world are: number 1, torrid zone, which is also called the tropical region; temperate zone, the temperate region; and the fridge zone, which is called the polar region. जैसा हमने इससे पिछली कक्षा में पढ़ा है, टॉरिड जोन क्या होता है? ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर एंड ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न के बीच का एरिया जहां बहुत ज्यादा गर्म रहता है. टेम्परेट जोन जहां पर हमेशा इक्वल वेदर रहता है, एंड फ्रिज जोन जहां पर फ्रिज जोन दैट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड पोलर रीजन जहां पर वेदर बहुत ज्यादा ठंडा रहता है. तो द रीजन्स between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn are said to have a tropical climate. Dear student, this is very important that you should know what is tropical climate. So, the region between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn are said to have a tropical climate. Dear student, tropical regions are generally very hot and wet, as we have already discussed it. But even within them, there are differences in climate depending on the factors, that is winds, desert, mountain and seas. Thus, tropical climate is mainly of 3 kinds. So, that is hot wet type, secondly monsoon type, and third is desert type. Let's understand it as I am removing it. Let's discuss the first one, that is hot wet type. So, the hot wet type of climate produce dense forest. The hot wet type climate produce dense forest. They are also called equatorial forest. Dense forest को हम equatorial forest भी कहते हैं. The equator passes through many countries of the continent of, as I am again removing it to move ahead, continent of South America, Africa, and the large island of Southeast Asia. Many of these countries are only partly covered by dense forest. तो ये सारे areas कैसे हैं? इनमें से बहुत सारी कंट्रीज हैं जो डेंस फॉरेस्ट से कवर हैं. So, dear student, one country, Zaire, is almost completely covered by dense forest. Zaire is our main example of hot, wet, dense forest. But what is the example of hot, wet, dense forest? This is very important question. What is the example of hot, wet, dense forest? So, Zaire is our main example of hot, wet, dense forest. We shall study the climate and other features of this country. So, the second one is location and climate. Dear student, as I am highlighting it, the Republic of Zaire is located on the west coast of Africa. कहाँ पर है? West coast of Africa में है. The equator runs across it. In Zaire, morning are pleasant with bright sunshine. By noon, it becomes very hot, and the heat causes great amount of water to evaporate from lakes, river, and ponds. By afternoon, clouds form and it rains heavily for an hour or two within thunder and lightning. So, the evening becomes pleasant and night becomes cool. The next day the same thing happens. तो जायर में क्या होता है? जो वेस्ट कोस्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका में है, वेस्ट कोस्ट अफ्रीका है, तो वहां पर मॉर्निंग प्लीजेंट होती है, दिन में बारिश होती है, रेनफॉल होता है, क्लाउड्स आते हैं और उसकी वजह से शाम को बहुत ही प्लीजेंट सा वेदर रहता है. तो यही चीजें रिपीट उसके नेक्स्ट डे भी होती हैं. Over 200 centimeter of rainfall in a year. The air is always humid. At noon, it makes people sweat all the time because humid create sweatings. These weather conditions remain the same throughout the year. Zaire has a quite few similarity with the climate and vegetation of Kerala in our country. हमारे कंट्री में कौन सी ऐसी सिटी है जहाँ पे जायर की तरह क्लाइमेट रहता है? Which is Kerala. So let's understand vegetation. What is vegetation? So dear student, let's understand it. So dear student, as I am highlighting is plenty of sunshine and heavy rain cause the extraordinary growth of plants here. Dense forests have grown up. There are thousands of variety of plants. Dense forest में क्या होते हैं? बहुत ज़्यादा plants की varieties होती हैं. There are flowers, fruit, falling leaves and new leaves all the time on the tree. So there are called evergreen forest. तो पूरा साल क्योंकि यहाँ पे प्लांट्स आते रहते हैं, पत्तियां गिरते रहती हैं, नए पत्तियां आती रहती हैं, नए फ्रूट फल होते रहते हैं, नए फ्लावर आते रहते हैं, इसलिए डेंस फॉरेस्ट को हम एवरग्रीन फॉरेस्ट भी कहते हैं. The trees of these forests grow high up to a height of about 60 meters in the competition of getting more sunshine. Below them are trees 50-30 meters high. Their branches are interlocked with others. On the ground there are thick bushes and shrubs. Many creepers climbs and the tree and add to the thick vegetation. It is almost dark beneath the trees even during the daytime. Dear student, they are too dense to cut a path through them. उसमें से रास्ते निकालना क्योंकि वो इतने डेंस होते हैं बहुत मुश्किल होता है. ऑयल पाम, बैम्बू, सिंथोनन, सैंडवुड, rubber and mahogany are the main trees of these forests. Dear student, this is very important that you should know what kind of trees and what kind of plants are available in the dense forest or evergreen forest. Let's understand wildlife. What is wildlife? So, what is wildlife? As I am highlighting it, the forests of Zaire are full of many huge insects, birds, and animals. These are wildlife: buffaloes, elephants, hippopotamus, rhinoceros, boar, and okapi. A giraffe is like animal are found in large numbers. So, butterflies and birds of every possible bright color live here. Poisonous reptiles like lizard, snake, and pythons are found in large number of here. So, dreadful crocodiles live in the lake and rivers. A variety of monkeys, baboons, and apes like chimpanzees and gorilla also live in these forests where Zaire. Thus, Zaire is called the natural zoo of the world. What is Zaire called? Zaire is called the natural zoo of the world because it contains many animals, many kind of animals in the forest. So this is all about wildlife of Zaire. Dear student, let's understand life of the people in Zaire. Let's understand it. What kind of life they are dealing here. So, dear student, the short people of Zaire have dark complexion with short and curly hair. About 80% of the people live in the village. The population is maximum along the Zaire river basin. Dear student, the village are small and scattered along the bank of the rivers and the shores of the lake. Dear student, most people live in bamboo huts thatched with the palm leaf and roofs. The leaves are woven into mats tied with ends and fixed to the poles in a slanting manner. Dear student, people wear very little cotton clothing due to hot and wet climate. They eat bananas and chapatis made from flour of tapioca. They also eat wild fruits which they gather in the forest. They use palm oil for cooking. Dear student, the people are quite tall and hefty, but the hot wet climate make the people feel lazy and weak. So they suffer from disease like malaria, sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness is a deadly disease caused by the biting of testis flies. Cattle are not reared as they mostly die by biting of the which flies? Tsetse flies. So, dear student, this is all about life of the people. So, let's understand the next one, which is agriculture. This is very important part of the Zaire life. Let's understand it. So, dear student, let's understand agriculture of the village in eastern Zaire. So, the people in Zaire villages make their living by fruit gathering, farming, fishing, and hunting. They clear off a part of the forest and grow vegetables, maize, groundnuts, banana, and cassava. From cassava root, they obtain topi- uh, tapioca to make bread. Tapioca to make bread. Rubber, oil palm, coffee, and cotton are grown in plenty. So, dear student, let's understand minerals and industries. As I am removing it, let's understand minerals and industries. So, dear student, as I am highlighting it, so dear student, Katanga is in south. Dear student, let's. I'm so sorry. There is some disturbance. Okay, let's understand it. So, dear student, Katanga in South Zaire is rich in minerals. We found diamonds, gold, copper, tin, manganese, and uranium are the important minerals extracted from the mines of Zaire. A large quantity of minerals is exported from here. Some cities of Zaire are the centers of industries. They produce textiles, chemicals, paper, soap, cement, and cigarette. So, dear student, Kinshasa is the capital of Zaire. More than 1 million people live in here. It is the largest city in Zaire. It located on the bank of the river of Zaire. Metadi is the biggest port and big railway terminal here. So this is very important question. What is Metadi? So Metadi is the biggest port and big railway terminal. Let's understand transport. What is transport? So, dear student, many parts of Zaire are connected to each other with roads and railways. The people also travel by boats on the Zaire and other rivers and lakes. The Republic of Zaire is a mixture of people from different tribes. The biggest tribe is Bantu tribe. So, dear student, this is very important that you should know, and this is very important question also. Which is the biggest tribe of Zaire. So the biggest tribe is the Bantu tribe and they speak Bantu language. Zaire is now trying to utilize the natural resources for fast development. New schools, colleges have been opened. So people in Kishangani are very short in height. Their way of living is quite different from other people of Zaire. They have dark skin, curly hair, and big nose. They change their place often. They are called Pagamis. They hunt animals with bows and arrows. They collect fruit and honey from the forest. They quickly make small round-shaped huts, live for few days and leave. They wander in search of food. So, dear student, as you can see in my screen, this is the picture of a Pagani village. Look at the people. They are little dark, have a curly hairs. Dear student, let's understand the last learning objective of the chapter, that is monsoon type of climate. Let's understand it. So, dear student, the monsoon type climate is found in, as I am removing it. This is little disturbance. Okay. The monsoon type of climate is found in South and Southeast Asia and Northern Australia. Dear student, the summer here is wet with heavy rainfall. The Tropic of Cancer, as I am highlighting it, Cancer right across India. India also has a tropical climate of monsoon type. So, dear student, this is all about the chapter 4, which is the hot wet forest. Dear student, we will study the 5th chapter of social science in our next class. Thank you.
Vidya Prakashan Mandir Private Limited.